Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
In this class, we're going to cover string manipulation. The first thing we're going to do is find the length of a string variable. But first, a few words that you might want to know just for the future. A string is a variable that contains letters, like a sentence. A string will always look like this. So here's our variable. Variable name is equal to, quotation, string I am, quotation. Basically, a string is a sentence. An integer is a numeric variable, so it's a number, but it has to be a whole number. For example, 9,999. It takes negatives as well, so minus 52, minus 9,999, etc. As long as it's a whole number. And a float, and here's the weird one, is a variable with a decimal. So 1.4, 9.999, minus 52.5, and minus 1 if we went 0.0. That would be a float. Now you can remember this name by thinking the decimal float between numbers. So those are just three types of variables. For now, that's all we're going to cover. That's just some terminology for those who want a little jump start into some more advanced JavaScript. And my personal recommendation is get to know these because these are pretty popular. And when you go to ask for help and someone replies with a string, integer, or float, you're going to know exactly what all three are. As we started, we're going to get the length of a variable, or a string I should say. All we do is we write our variable dot length. So open, close our script, variable alphabet, and I wrote here A, B, C, D, E, F all the way to X, Y, Z. Variable age 22, variable exact age 22.8953. So the first one is our string because, well, it's a sentence and it has our quotes. Second one, age, is an integer because it's a whole number, and the third one is a float, and that's because it has a decimal. The decimal floats. And in our example here for document write, we're going to use a little bit of conjugation here. And you notice the first one, we have alphabet.length. We conjugated a space. And we have age.length, conjugated another space, and then exact age. Actually, this should be exact age.length. Now what this is going to display is 26, undefined, and undefined. JavaScript will often throw two issues at you. The first one will be undefined, which means what it's looking for is there, but it's not defined properly. And the second one is NaN, not a number. So it displays 26 because there are 26 letters in here. If we add a space in here, then that would be changed to 27, because a space still counts. Next, for age.length, we have 22. Well, it showed up as undefined. Same thing happened with exact age, and we wrote exact age.length. Well, the reason both of those are undefined is because they're not strings. You can only get the length of a variable if it's a string. Now, if we change these and added quotes, like this is no longer an integer. This is a string. This is no longer a float. This is a string. The reason is because we have quotes. So now age.length would show up as 2, because there are 2 characters. And exact age.length would show up as 7. We got 2 numbers here, then a decimal, so that's 3 in total, plus another 4, so that's 7. Next, let's look at changing all of our letters to uppercase, and we can do that with variable.uppercase. Now this one's a little bit different. ToUppercase is actually a function, and it uses the brackets there. And with this, we can change all of our letters in a string to uppercase letters. The way we do this is, for example, variable food is equal to triple patty king burger, and I just capitalized each word. I didn't change all the letters to uppercase. Now to write this, we wrote document write food dot to uppercase open and close brackets. Now remember, JavaScript is case sensitive, so 2 must be lowercase, U uppercase, PPER lowercase, C uppercase, ASE lowercase, open and close bracket. So you notice that we use the food variable, obviously, then it was followed by a period, then our function. This is how we execute this type of construct in JavaScript. The exact same thing applies to lowercase, and that's exactly how we change all of our letters to lowercase. So here we have variable pangram, and we just wrote the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. If we go document write, pangram, dot to lowercase, open and close bracket, it's going to change all of our letters to lowercase. Now, in the event that you're thinking, Hey, why would I ever use these? Well, a really good use for to uppercase and to lowercase is to compare input. If you have a variable that you need to compare to someone's input and you want an exact match, remember JavaScript is case sensitive. So password, all lowercase, is not the same as password that's capitalized. Here's an example script to make use of both length and case conversion. Open and close our script. Variable p is equal to prompt. What is the password? Blank. So they have to put something in, and we're not going to put anything in their field for them. If p, which is our prompt, and that's going to be our answer, to lowercase is equal to password, and that's all lowercase, and p.length is equal to 8, then alert access granted. Otherwise, we're going to alert an uppercase password, or in our case, anything that we write is going to be turned into uppercase and it's going to be alerted back to us. Conjugated is wrong. This might not make a lot of sense, so here's a demo. What is a password? So if we wrote password, but for example we wrote it wrong, and it alerted us the exact same way we spelled it, but in uppercase. Now, what if we wrote password the right way? It allows us in. And one more example, if we wrote password in all uppercase, remember, our code down here is going to change all of this into lowercase, and it's going to try to match the word password. So password in uppercase is the same as password in lowercase. Well, we did lowercase already, we know it works. Let's try uppercase. Access granted. Now, I do need to let you know that this is not a good way to implement any sort of security feature in your website. That's because all I have to do is open up the source, and I can just read it. What I would be looking for is p, which is prompt, what is the password? And we know that's the password, and the length has to be 8. Although this is cool, please don't use this as